Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple, learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any of the combinations of business partnerships. We are your hosts Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community, and together
we are In Business. As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps or websites out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings too. And don't forget to check out our bonus episode, The Friday Fix. Without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. So welcome to our In Business Talks 2. I was just going to say Friday Fix.
It's not a Friday Fix, no, it's not.
No. Welcome to our In Business podcast. And today we have with us Gemma Edwards and Helen Cliff of socontented. Welcome, ladies.
So, just before we start, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Over to you, Gemma, because I know you like to drill it into us all of the time.
Okay, I will field this one then. So, hello everyone. We are Gemma and Helen from socontented. We are the co-founders, and we specialise in brand voice, which means we help businesses to communicate in a really consistent way, to be really clear on what they do, who they do it for, and most importantly, how they want to talk about those things. We also do copywriting. So once we have figured out how you want to sound, what you want to talk about, what you want to say, we can then implement that as well. So that might be things like website content, social media content,
Blogs, articles,
anything with a written word.
Yeah, across the board.
That's what we do.
Okay,
Excellent, thank you.
sounds like that will keep you very, very busy.
Yes, we are.
There we go. So when most people go to start a business, shall we say, they usually put a bit of thought and a bit of planning into starting a business. Now, is that the case for you two girls?
I mean, yes and no.
There was no thought into the decision to start it, I don't think.
We'd kind of toyed with the idea of what we would do if we ran a business, but at the time when we discussed it, it was never a kind of, this is definitely what we're going to do, this is happening. It was more of a, if we started a business, it would be this.
This is what we do, or we should do this. This is what we should do. We should start a business. It was more rooted in a change, making a change and actually starting a business. And the writing and creativity, it wasn't an afterthought by any means, because I think now it's safe to say it's quite a passion, really.
Oh yeah.
But it was the intention to be business owners. I think that was quite a big drive for us, very much so.
Yeah.
What made you make the decision to go into
Gemma
business?
made the decision. I quit my job and said,
it was as simple as that. And she just, and I said, well, this is, I'm a divorce lawyer. I've got 2 kids. I've got a career. Is it as simple as that? And she said, yes, it is. So I went on maternity leave, had some time to think about it. We started things up during that, and I never went back. I handed my notice in because I basically said, it's not that simple. Gemma said, yes, it is. I found myself agreeing with that, and then suddenly we were in restaurant, bar and grill with my tiny baby in a pram, having handed in my notice, and it was bizarre.
God, that feels like it was yesterday, doesn't it?
Was bizarre.
Yeah, that moment.
But very straightforward, I have to say. I want to tell you it was some kind of really complicated emotional decision. It wasn't. It just wasn't. Which I think is not the journey that a lot of business owners go on, actually.
No, I think it can be really hard when you have, a job that you're doing on a daily basis to then try and get a business off the ground, and to then have the grit to go, right, okay, that's it. I'm quitting the job.
Yeah.
I'm doing this thing full time now, because you can't, I think it's nigh on impossible for most people to get a business to a point where it's replaced your full-time income while you're still working full-time.
It's
hard.
Yeah, it is hard. And I think the other thing I want to qualify here for anyone listening to this who's thinking about it the thought must be running through people's minds of, oh, that must be nice. It must be nice to be in a position where you can do that. And I categorically want to say, certainly for myself, that was not the case. I was in a very unsettled period of my life, personally. Not long after I found myself a single parent with very little income. So it's not just that. This isn't I'm not a privileged person sitting here saying I was able to give up all of that, because that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
But strangely, that still didn't affect my decision. And I think perhaps there's something in the fact that there were two of us.
I agree.
Would I have done that had it just been me? I think the categorical answer is no. But the fact that there were two of us, which is unusual actually for a lot of business startups, that did make a difference. But I do think for anyone sitting out there worrying that you can't do it because of that, please feel free to have a chat with me, because there are ways to do it.
And looking back, when you decided to do it, were there any sort of like, you'd made the decision to do it, was there any like sleepless night moments? Was there anything where you wake up thinking, oh, hang on a minute,
what have I done?
God, what have we done? Should we have done this? Did that happen? Was there any doubt, or was it just simply, no,
I don't
I'm
think
going
you
for
ever
this?
doubted it, did you, when you went to hand
I
in
think
your
once I'd
notice?
done it, I remember walking up and I was like this. I'm being in there and didn't want to do it, but I think I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to upset anyone. And the firm that I worked for, I loved, I adored them. I had a great team. It was nothing to do with them. It was all to do with me and how I'd changed. And I didn't feel like I could deliver for them in the same way because my heart wasn't in it anymore. But no, I expected a ton of sleepless nights. I didn't have any. I think I remember sitting at the table with you and saying to you, I expected to feel, and I'm normally the kind of person that if I hand my notice in, I would constantly be thinking, right, I've got 28 days to retract that. Should I need to retract it? I can do it. It just never crossed my mind.
I remember you saying that when we were sat in Restaurant Grill. I was saying,
yeah,
I've got 28 days to retract it, but
I'm not even thinking about it, and I didn't.
I think slightly different for me because I quit before we started the business. I quit to start, and I was just like, right, done
that's
it.
Classic Gemma, by the way. That's what she does.
We know.
Yeah. Do you agree with everything then that you do there? How do you? If you don't agree, do you agree on everything?
Gemma's absolutely roaring laughter there. With laughter.
And if you don't, how do you sort of resolve it? What do you do?
Do you know what? We laugh, but in the main, we do agree. We're very, very different people, but we do agree.
I think what we agree on is an end result, and I think that's what matters. Yeah. I think we agree on where is this going, and what are we trying to achieve. Yeah. And that's not necessarily always something, those long-term goals, but things that are short-term as well. We agree on, what do we want to do in the next 12 months? Where do we want to take the business? How do we see that happening? I think one of the main things we tend to disagree on is probably, I think maybe sometimes the how.
Yes.
And most often the when.
Yes.
So,
yes. Logistics is a big thing for us.
It's a lot easier, I think, for us to come to a compromise and come to an agreement that works for us and for the business, because we have that same end goal in mind. We're not pulling in different directions. No. We're both trying to get to the same place. It's more a case of we get the idea. I'm like, let's do it now. And Helen's like, let's do it in 2 years. And then 12 months instead. So I'd say that's kind of our MO, I think, in the business world.
It's a compromise, isn't it? It's about compromise, isn't it? It's about working it together, isn't it? I suppose.
It's about finding your path, isn't it? It's about finding your journey, because we never compromise on the end goal, I don't think. Mm-hmm. We might have to compromise on the whens and the hows, but in general, so for example, when we're employing, that was the first time we ever really disagreed, actually. And we talk it through and we get to a point, and then somebody else comes in that we both really love, and the decision is made. But we have a rule about employment that if somebody feels really strongly about a person one way or another and the other doesn't agree, they can't be, we can't employ them. We have to go back to the drawing line, so the drawing board. So there is a line there, I think, that we know.
I think from business decisions generally, actually sometimes I think what we probably do quite well is when we don't agree, we don't always compromise when it's not the right thing to do. I think if one of us really truly adamantly believes that something is right. I think what we do quite well is trust each other.
Do you mean those times when you say something to me and then I tell you it's not happening and then you systematically manipulate me so that I have to give in?
That's exactly
what I want you to be really clear on, Gemma, is this isn't happening, and then within the next 24 hours I'm agreeing to it.
That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Times.
That's it.
But I suppose that is
that's trust, though, isn't it?
It's trust, and I think I know Gemma inside and out, and she knows me inside out, and I think as humans there's not a lot we don't know about each other, so I can read her very well, she can read me very well, and even in the times that we disagree, I'm just going to say we are exceptional communicators, and that's what makes us good at what we do. It makes us great writers, it makes us great brand specialists, because we are exceptional communicators. We talk about things all the time. You have to. So I kind of know what she's thinking, and most of the time I know what she's going to say before she says it.
I have an expressive face.
Yeah. Yeah. So and some things are a no. I know the tone. It's a bit like a parent. Like there'll be, my dad always used to say there are two ways of saying a parent's no. It's like either dad or dad. So I know if she's coming to me going, Helen, right, need the there's something there. Whereas if it's the shall we go for a cup of tea? I'm like, no, you're not having that subscription. No, you can't have it. Not right now. So
you sound very different people. So does that determine your roles within the business?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I think that's probably another thing we've done well in business, if we have played to our strengths.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you choose them, or did you automatically sort of gravitate towards them?
Yeah, so I would say probably for the first 12 months, both of us did a little bit of everything. We did what worked.
But we were dictated by practicality, and I had a tiny baby.
Yeah, you were on there were some things that it kind of made sense in that first 12 months that Helen did a lot of the writing, a lot of the implementation, a lot of the operational side of the business. I did more of the sales and the marketing stuff, just simply because it was easier for me to get out and about and meet people and see people, because as Helen said, she had a very small human in tow. So eventually, when we got to the point where Sebastian went to nursery, Helen's little boy went to nursery, we realised that we had gravitated towards doing certain things anyway. And at that point, we actually sat down, I don't know if you remember this, and we did
still got the notes,
job descriptions for ourselves, of what we would take responsibility for. So while I had the responsibility for the business development at the time, wasn't only me doing it anymore, because Helen now had some more free time, but it fell under me to keep an eye on things, to monitor that, to see what results we were getting, and we kind of given each other a job description, hadn't we? Like, these are the roles within the business, and as a business owner, you guys will know, you wear a lot of hats. You don't just do one thing, you got several things to do and to take care of, and we kind of wrote down all the things that needed to be done and dish them out, really.
Yeah, we did. And I think when it comes to the sales and marketing stuff, we ended up as directors, we both do a bit of that. And I think sometimes you have less confidence in yourself than your business partner has in you. You think you're really bad at something. And I'd been out of the game for a long time. And it took for Gemma to sit me down and look at our clients and say, who brought that in? You. Who brought that in? You. Who brought that in? You. And to have that confidence and then go out and do it again. So you can have different hats, but it's about raising each other up to know what you are actually good at. So I don't want to sit and just be operational all the time. I do want to go out there and meet clients, because I'm a director of business, and I think we do that quite well.
I agree.
And we haven't fought over roles at all.
No, I don't think we've needed to. And I think, again, it's from that whole concept of, while one person has overall responsibility, it doesn't mean that every action taken within that role has to be taken by that person.
No.
I've just had a thought here, just before I suppose we should say or ask, how did you guys meet?
So, do you know what? For two women who are really not that bothered for talking about babies, which we're generally not, that is where it started. We met at NCT, which is where you pay an organisation to meet new friends. You pay them an insane amount of money to make some new friends.
They do
We
it.
all get scared.
They do it under the guise of, you'll
We're gonna
learn
teach
things
you
about having a
everything.
baby,
Yeah.
but
So
you
just
don't. You just meet some pals.
it's a friend subscription service.
And we didn't really like each other when we first met.
No. I thought she was aloof and completely not connected to anything that real humans do. No, I didn't get any sense of reality whatsoever. Like, do you understand this? Do you understand where we are? And I think she thought I was a gobby home birthing Earth mother.
I did, yeah.
Threw
a hand up every time the woman asked a question. Helen,
still do that in any
little
room.
hand just flew up constantly. I know the answer. Pick me. So we weren't that immediate, natural.
Not at all. So we didn't really talk to each other that much, and then Gemma kind of sort of disappeared for a bit, and obviously I was the hub of organising all the events. And one of the other mums was like, well, I've been in touch with Gemma, and she's thinking about coming along. And I was like, oh well, fine, if she must.
This was 3 months in, because I'd avoided them all for 3 months.
It doesn't bother me that she hasn't been bothered to attend a single one of the things that I've organised up to now. If she graces with her presence, that would be fabulous. I'll set another plate. And then it just so happened that you were kind of the last to leave at events, so we just
probably last to arrive.
And we just and we just found ourselves with it's nonsense. We have a common love of nonsense. And I know that sounds totally silly when you talk about seriously running a business, but you have to laugh together. You have to be able to take the good and the bad. And sometimes we've had really bad months, and we just have to sit and pull stupid faces at each other, because that's how you get through.
Have a few laughs and get over it.
Yeah, and just get over it. And we found a lot of magic in the difference, because we are different in pretty much every single way, but there's something samey about that. There's something that's the same. Yeah, and maybe it's because we like people and we like different. I couldn't run a business with somebody who was exactly like me. It would drive me mental, and I think you would feel the same.
Oh, I would. There wouldn't be a business if there was another me in it.
No, well, there wouldn't. No, we would not.
Categorically
for 10 years. Yeah.
Sometimes now clients ask me questions about their invoicing and some of the functional things, and I'm like, I'll come back to you. Helen.
So what's your plan for the? What's your overall goal for the business, and what's your objective? Where do you see the end game? What is it you're aiming for?
Ian, growth. Mm-hmm. We know. I think we've had a big team day, and we've got a lot of clarity on who we want to be and where we're going, and that's always been quite solid, I think.
Yeah, I think we've undergone that classic business evolution for the last since we started in 2017. So.
And what hasn't changed is that everything we do is just rooted in exceptional content, and using that content to the best to get results and to help other businesses grow. And the brand voice element of that, people think that's separate. It's not. You can't have great content if you don't have a brand voice. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So for anybody thinking that you can't. So
we didn't know what to call ourselves.
No, we didn't know what to call ourselves.
We came in as copywriters because we didn't know what else to talk about. And of course, when we started, I'd say we probably were closer to just simply the copywriting side of things, taking the brief, delivering on the brief, sending it back. But we soon realised that wasn't the way that we liked to work. We really enjoyed the projects where we had more strategic involvement, and it developed from there. We went through this whole rigmarole of, well, if we're not copywriters, what do we call ourselves? We went through content creators, and now we've kind of coming back to, well, we do write copy, so we are copywriters.
We are copywriters.
But equally, we are, if a friend of ours who has a brand strategy business, she says, you are brand strategists. You specialise in the written element of brand, but that is what you do. You are brand strategists.
So I think we will be a business with two elements. I mean, we are rewriting our website.
We've been rewriting our own website for 5 years.
So December is the month of rewriting to now we've got it absolutely nailed on that, we are one arm. Let's get your brand voice nailed on and rolled out. And second arm, let's implement that. Let's really get that quality content out there in line with that.
And are you looking to become a global organisation,
or
want
to stay within our niche?
To stay within our niche. We don't want to be jack of all trades, because I just don't often think it works. To be honest, I don't. That's my view.
No, I think you dilute, don't you?
and it's
If you
just,
do that, you
we're
dilute.
experts in what we do, and that's what people pay for.
And I want our people in our team to be experts in that as well. I think, I've seen friends who've got businesses that are full service and offer, it's a lot harder when it comes to finding people, because they have to have a certain and specific array of skills in the business, or freelancers that they can outsource that stuff to. And it's a much bigger people challenge, I think, than we have the and
it's just not one we want to get into. I mean, we know what we like and we know what we love. I'm a writer. I'm a born writer. I could write all day long, which is probably part of the problem. But I think, we know that we will have some really solid partners, because when we do our strategies on the back of Brand Voice and we start to develop someone's content strategy moving forward, those strategies will have space and room and recommendations for other expertise that we don't have, which is where we will rely on expert partners. But we're not into white labeling. We're not into any of that. It's more of a collaborative approach. We're the experts in this. You're the experts in that. We will pitch that and let's see how it goes. So we are experts in the industry, I would say, and the digital experience and all of and that sort of user experience, but we're not going to implement it all. We're going to implement the bits that we know. Yeah,
that you're
we know
you're good
enough
at.
about everything as a whole from a marketing perspective
to make recommendations about what your business needs.
Yeah, you need to speak to somebody on this, and this, but
we will not be
we're not
getting
getting
into full service delivery.
No technicalities of how we would implement.
There are enough people out there with their own expertise
who are really good at what they do.
Yeah, so why would we tread on their toes?
Exactly. So, do you push each other? Do you
over the edge, or
yeah, we push each other to our limits. We push each other all the time.
Do you hold each other accountable? Is that what you do? How does that?
We do, but that's our weakest area, I would say.
I think
that's our weakest area, and we have spoken to people about that in terms of keeping us accountable.
Yeah, I think the things that we don't hold each other accountable to are the things that we should be doing together.
Yes.
I think we hold each other accountable in terms of what we expect from the other. I think we do that.
Yeah. And I think once we have done that, or it just takes somebody to say something and it jerks you out of it, and it doesn't take long for that to change. Sometimes you realise that you've not been around enough and you should have probably been around more, and you just have to have a word with yourself and you say, yes, that's true, I need to up my game there, and then you change it. You make a change. It's not up for debate. Somebody said it to you. That's an objective view. It's not about what you think. It's about what other people think of you in that business, and you change it. Simple as that. Or I might say, to Gemma, the other week we were talking about stuff and you were like, yeah, when we do this, and I said, well, there is no when, is there? You just need to be on LinkedIn more. Suddenly she was on LinkedIn more. That's how it is. Some things are just non-negotiable, but I think on the other level, on a different level, I think I ground Gemma, but she lifts me. So I'm not a natural risk taker. I'm very risk averse, but I would say I'm definitely more aspirational now. And I think you see the mechanics of how to get to that blue sky that you're thinking in more.
Yeah, I think you're probably
and
right.
That right there is why this works.
Yeah. I think we kind of have a bit more of a view of I will do something, I'll be thinking about something, and it will cross my mind to think, what would Helen do?
Yeah.
And I think you do the same.
I do the same, and that is on a human level. A lot of running a business is just human stuff. There's been times, it's been a very difficult few years for me, and I think you sometimes need someone to say, no, come on, you can do this, you're good at this, you're worth more than this, you can, so it's not just about, what you can get, it's what you want and what you have to do to get to where you want to be. So I would say that thinking in me has started to apply more across the board in my life, which then filters down into your business, because of course your business is you, isn't it? It's who you are, your values and what you stand for and all of that.
And what's the best part of being in business together? This part is obviously a great partnership. So what's the best part?
Yeah. It is, yeah. It is just so much fun. There are times when I can be stressed, and I think the last couple of weeks have been quite stressful. I think Gemma and I have taken our heads out of the game a little bit, just for whatever reason. There's been a lot going on, you know, and I think unless you can be honest as a business owner about this stuff, you're never going to make anyone else's journey easier. Those moments are normal. And I feel like even over the last 36 hours, there's been a bit of a reboot.
Yeah. I think the beauty of having two of us is, you know, you do have highs and lows, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do.
I think when there's two of you, you rarely have a low point together.
But I have never, I honestly, hand on heart, have never woken up since starting this business and not wanted to do it. Never. I've never not wanted to go to work. And that is a big statement. That's not, I'm not lying there. I'm not making that up.
It is.
I have never not wanted to go to work.
No, that leads quite nicely up to my next question, because if one of you is a bit down or something's upset one or other of you, what do you do?
It's our job to build each other up. I have done it, and sometimes Gemma will take me into that toilet and just literally make me look in a mirror and say, this is this, this is this. It is literally like having my very own Stacey Bayman podcast right there, right here. This is it. This is what we're doing. This is what's happening. If the worst happens, you'll be here, and these are the steps we'll take to get you to here. I'll have a good cry. I'll get it out, and it's sorted. She'll be the same. I think I've probably done more of that for you the last few hours than you've done for me, actually. I think it's been my turn to say to you, come on, no, we can do this.
Yeah, I was poorly last week. I had a cold and I came back in and I was like, oh, I've got no energy.
Come on, we've got this. You know, because when somebody says, I'm worried about this, the last thing they need is for that person to say, yeah, we need to really start worrying about it, because actually unpick it all, we might have to worry a little bit, but we'll figure it out.
For the most part, we'll
figure it out. It's not going to get you anywhere, so we'll figure it out. So don't worry about it. So we do a lot of that. Yeah, I think we do. And I don't know. There's nobody else. Now we run a business together. There's nobody in my life who can do that for me effectively as you. I don't know if you would say the same.
I agree,
I can't. There isn't. Yeah. That's my touchstone right there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important.
Yeah, that person that can just swoop in, give you the shake by the lapels and get you back on it again.
The words you need just to do it.
Okay, I've got a question now to each of you. Same question to each of you. I'll start with Helen. Helen,
I think we might know the answer to
Helen, what's Gemma's most annoying habit at work? And Gemma, you're gonna get the same question about Helen. So, Helen, what's Gemma's most annoying habit? It can only be one, of course.
I've morphed into Gemma, right? Oh, God, I feel so overwhelmed. I've got this to do. I've got this to do. Have you done that job? No, I'm not right. Okay, I've just got this, and do, and it feels like all like this in my head, right? Okay, and I'll go. Just do it now. You sat at your desk. Just do it. Okay, I'm just gonna, and that's it. It's inability to focus on stuff, and I think Gemma spends a lot of time talking about the stuff she's doing, actually doing them, and losing focus because she needs a very specific headspace in order to do it. It's like there's a mental block.
That's like you were in my head there, because what happens is I look at something and I think, right, I'm going to do this thing, and then while I'm doing it, something else will pop into my head. I'll be like, so I'm just going to do that before I forget to do it. But then I'll open another window, and the nature of opening another window means something else will pop up that will make me think, I need to do that.
Yeah.
And before I know it, I've gone on to like 5 or 6 different things, and
whereas
2 hours in, nothing has happened.
Whereas in my head,
I've completed not one of them.
There's just a list. It's just a list. It's 1 to 5.
Yes.
You just do it.
Yeah, I have a problem with focus.
Ian, she gets her tea drinking.
It must be a family thing.
I'm not good on focus.
Maybe
it's that level of procrastination and just it's not even procrastination. It's just an inability
to focus.
To say, I cannot. It's like you can't accept that you've got to do this list.
Yeah, I must not do the list. I must not do the list.
And sometimes I wish she'd just said, you know what? I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing this.
Somebody else needs to do this. I'm not doing it.
But I do have the intention to do it, but my head just takes me in.
Yeah, well, interestingly, in murder trials, it's the intention that gets you put in jail. That's it. I think physically and all of that, I don't think you have any annoying work habits, and there aren't many more. That is probably it. I wish I could help her focus more.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that she's always late, but
oh God, no,
maybe
we're
that's
both
just a
quite bad
sideline.
timekeepers, I'd say. I cannot
We
hold
operate in our
anyone
own
to
time
account
zone,
in
I
that.
think.
So every day is Fiji time for me. I'm literally like, yeah.
So Gemma, then your turn to answer this. What's Helen's most
cringing.
annoying habit at
Helen's
work?
Helen's
cringing, yeah.
most annoying habit at work is categorically her inability to use any sort of technology successfully. Everything she touches, she breaks.
My Chromebook is upstairs, dead.
Yeah,
It's dead.
it
Yes,
just
it's
now
brand
won't
new.
turn
It's
on.
dead. Just doesn't want to look at me anymore.
Won't turn on. And a system that we'll have been using for months or possibly years, it's like she'll just forget how to use it, and she'll say, well, I can't, it's not working. It's never, I don't think I'm doing this right. It's not working. I'm going to say
That sounds a bit
That sounds
familiar
like
too.
you. Yeah, I have that problem as well with my colleague
Sounds a bit
here.
like
Yeah.
it right. And she goes, I am definitely doing it right. And this will go on for about 10 minutes or so, and then she'll say, oh no, I've been doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I pressed the wrong thing.
Sometimes I will ask a question like, so if we did that, right, why haven't we got this thing where I can just press this and it will move it to that? And Gemma's like, we've done that, set it all up. We even gave you a demo. You're still not using it. Yeah, I would wholeheartedly categorically agree with that.
Yeah. And it's really annoying when they swoop in and just do it, isn't it? And you're just like, oh, well.
We had
Yeah.
a
Well, I was
similar
trying to do
incident. What we were doing, and I said, "Well, have you tried
this, have you tried that? Oh, I was trying to get into my OneDrive or something.
Oh,
and,
yeah. And
you
I said, well, come out of that and then just go into this.
go into it again.
And she'd
or
been
something.
ages faffing about saying, oh, it's you, it doesn't work. It's rubber. This
Oh,
it's a
my
print.
printer.
It doesn't
It's
work.
printer.
I said, well, look, why don't you just take the printer offline and download it again? Oh, and lo and behold, it worked, didn't it? 5 minutes later. And we've been an hour discussing why it wasn't working and stuff like that. I'm thinking,
pressing the button.
keep pressing.
Why won't it?
I am not good. There are call centres across the country who have had dealings with me where they probably play them in customer train, like in staff training.
This call is being recorded.
I am telling you, Carol, that the number I am putting in is absolutely correct. Hang on, no, wait a minute, it's not.
Sorry about that, Carol.
Sorry, Carol. Yeah, so I think they're the two. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll discuss the others offline.
Yeah. So if you could do it all again, what would you?
Yeah.
I mean, would you go back in time and do it?
Yeah. If you jump back in a time machine now and you had the same decisions to make again, would you do exactly the same?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Would you change anything?
No,
would you do anything
I think
differently?
it's a journey. I don't think you can't. The stuff that, I could sit here and say, I wish I knew that we'd come out to be really brand specialists and kind of start doing that. It doesn't work like that.
No.
It doesn't work like that. I didn't know I was really good at brand voice. I didn't know. I don't even think Gemma knew how good she'd be at brand voice until we just started, being different. We're just different. If you want a copywriter that you can hand a brief to, get some copy, pick it apart because you don't like it and keep telling me how to do we're not the copywriters for you. That's not us. That it's taken a while for us to get there.
And I'm not sure if we travelled back in this time machine and said to each other, right, okay, this is where you're going to end up in however many years' time, so this is what you should just start doing now. I'm not sure we would be as good as we are now.
No, I don't think we would. No.
I think we learned a lot from getting it not wrong, but kind of wrong.
But doing it,
Piaf, innit? Non je ne regrette rien. Simpler, I regret nothing.
I see it.
Don't sing that, Helen. What tip or advice would you give someone who's thinking of going into business with
a friend or a relative or whatever that might be?
And be prepared for it to be. It will be a challenge, but it will be a challenge in a really good way. And I think for some people won't have our story. Some people will get into that and realise that that's not their other half. Mm-hmm. And I think you've got to be open to that. It just so happens for us that we have had very little disagreements. And people used to say to us, wait for it. Wait for when you do that. We are over 5 years in now, and that has never materialised. And I genuinely think it would have materialised by now.
So, yeah.
So I think be as sure as you can be. If you have any doubts or niggles about the person you're going into business with, stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Stop and think about it, because there's a lot of reputation. It's hard to start something, fail, and relationships can make or break a business.
I agree. And I think also have that very clear discussion before you start of where you want the business to end up, of what that end goal is that you're trying to achieve. You don't want one of you who's
I want to be massive,
wants a big global corporate, while the other one wants
a team of 10.
You need to be aligned in that direction.
Are you happy to do you want to start offering share, like all the things that we, you can't get it down to the minutiae, and some of it you just have to go with, but go with your gut. And some people go into business with people that they don't have a good feeling about, no matter how much they love them. And if the gut feeling isn't there, I would probably say don't do it.
I agree.
And do you think then you've got to be as well? You've got to be totally honest with each other for a business to work. You have to be able to say. You have to be able to give each other the hard word when needed, and accept that not as in a bad way, but as an objective.
You have to be able to give each other the hard word and then get over it and move on.
We've had the odd evening where we have had a mild disagreement, and the text messages might be a little bit more curt than they usually are, but you sleep on it and you get over it. It's as simple as that. And it's not all the time. It's nowhere near all the time. If your relationship can't handle that, I'm a very reactive, quite defensive person. It's something that I will work on my whole life. I will never be cured of that. But I'm better at it now for being part of a partnership, partly because I know somebody else is not going to stand for it all the time. And you don't mind. You've never minded being challenged, though, to be fair. You're not bothered about that, I don't think, or somebody telling you.
Which, again, I think is probably
you're like the ultimate child who I say, have you eaten all the chocolate cake? And your face is smothered in chocolate, and you're just like, yeah, I have you. Yeah, I've done it. That is Gemma to a T.
What's your next move?
Whereas I'm more, why are you asking that question? But yeah, I think how we all feel about the words honesty and all of that, but in this context, there is genuinely nothing you don't know about me, nothing, and there's nothing. You know what my financial circumstances are, you know what my plan is for the future, you know what I can do, you know what my limitations are. And without that, how do you are literally you're putting your financial future in someone else's hands. Anything less than 150% honesty is nonsense. You can't do it.
And we spend so much time together as well.
Mike thinks that he's got 2 wives.
Mike's not sure which one of us are married. He can't remember.
There was a period of time where my kids our houses for our children are interchangeable. They're interchangeable, and that is one business partner dynamic, and I think that is dictated by having small children and how we met. But other people won't necessarily be like that. They won't have that physical togetherness like that, but it still can be up here. Still can be up here. I think at arm's length business partners are a bit. I would struggle with that.
I think it would be difficult to have those discussions. The way that we do, and talk about things the way that we do, and disagree when we do as well, to then also air it, get over it, and move on if you don't have a really solid foundation.
Well, it sounds like you've got a fabulous working and personal relationship going on there, girls.
I'm cooking Sunday lunch for you all on Sunday. There you are.
Oh, we'll be round then, Helen. We'll be round. I didn't know we were invited.
Thank you. Round for Sunday lunch. The more the merrier, if you'd like to join.
We'll be recovering on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be recovering. Basically, he's like,
yeah. It's like, wait, this come out of a plastic bag? What?
Yeah, like, is this real food? Oh, no, it does. It's been great talking to you and finding out just how you run your business together. It's just it just sounds like it works.
Yeah, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And the nice thing is, when we do these, when you put these things out there for your clients to listen to, they get to know the person behind the business. It's the personal behind the professional, isn't it? And you find that, I think people like that. I think we had some good comments, haven't we?
Yeah, but I kind of think that these two will be like that with their clients.
People probably know it anyway. Yeah, but
I
there
think
you
you're
go.
right. And I think, but we are, when you are going out there actually actively trying to win business as you grow, they don't always know that really. And you have to get them into that culture of following you. We're very big into our brand. We're very big into our employer brand. It certainly filters down into our people. It's really good and it works. And I would say, I think we're both of anybody who's got questions, if you're thinking about doing it, or if you need help with, nailing that brand or getting a bit more confidence about it, get in touch.
You're going to say, if people do want to get in touch with you guys, what's the best way? What's your website and are you on LinkedIn and all that? Tell us how they can get in touch.
I live and breathe LinkedIn, so I'm on LinkedIn all day, every day. So if anyone wants to contact me on LinkedIn to talk more either about what we do or just about who we are and how we're doing it, and needs a bit of inspiration and no nonsense, honest what's and all, I might not tell you what you want to hear, but I'll happily
tell you anyway.
And what's your website? What's that?
Is
that
socontented.com.
Don't you say www?
We are in the middle of rewriting it though, so there won't be a lot of focus on brand voice on that, which we do kind of want to focus on. So by all means, go on, take a look at our brand. Just know that a new one will be coming soon. But for up-to-date content right now and at the moment, and a little bit of a feel in the now about who we are, our LinkedIn profiles are.
Yeah. So
and
my
all
LinkedIn,
our grids and all the rest of it. So yeah.
My LinkedIn handle is Gem Edwards. I can see in Helen's face that she does not know what hers is. But if you either look for So Contented on there and look at the people, you will find us both. Or she's casually handed me a phone in the hope that I will know how to find it for her.
We'll find it.
We'll find it. Don't worry about it. We'll seek you out. We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it all in the. Don't worry, we'll put it all in the show notes. So don't panic.
Oh well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, ladies, today.
It really is.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we'll
and good luck in your business venture and every success. Yeah,
and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
We've now come to the knowledge share part of our podcast. And Ian, what have we got to share with us this week?
Well, this week, one of our members has suggested one called pomofocus.io. And basically, it's a Pomodoro timer to help you boost your productivity. PomoFocus is a customizable Pomodoro timer that works on desktop and mobile browser, and the aim of this app is to simply help you focus on any task you're working on, such as study, writing or coding. This app is inspired by the Pomodoro technique, which is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but before we go, we'd like to invite you along to one of our online networking events where you can meet some great business owners. The link will be in the show notes.
Thanks so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. And please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it. And check out our books available on Amazon. Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.